Good morning, everybody. Welcome in, and I'm gonna get this started here pretty soon. You guys can hear my dogs barking. Anyways, if you're in here right now watching, feel free to smash the like button. I would deeply appreciate that. And also, um, yeah, if you guys like to try out Helium Mobile, use that QR code below. That will get you your first month for free. And if you want to help out the channel, scan the upper left QR code there. Also, I do have some shirts available for Team Nexus, Team Pixels. If you guys want to grab one, definitely do that. And you know, yeah, I would appreciate that. Anyways, good morning to everybody. How's it going? We are at Halloween week. Man, oh man, am I excited for Halloween. And hopefully you guys are doing something pretty cool for Halloween this year. As you guys can see, this is my mask that I'm going to be wearing Halloween night. It is the Rob Zombie Michael Myers mask from Halloween 2. I have my jumpsuit over there, so I know this looks all weird. Mario hoodie and Michael Myers mask, but yeah, it gets the job done. Hopefully, you guys caught the Pixel 5a video. If you guys caught that video, then you guys pretty much saw I was wearing this, to a Halloween party. So, anyways, today we are talking about Android 15, and I'm going to be telling you guys what my favorite features are with the latest OS from Google. On top of that, my experience with Google Fi, letting you guys know how the Google Fi worked out. So, keep it locked for that. And yeah, just a little bit of a free for all. So I won't be wearing the mask the entire podcast. So hopefully you guys understand. I mean, this thing is, yeah. Although I'll probably wear it in future podcast videos just for fun. I mean, I think the mask is pretty cool. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you guys are pretty cool with this mask or whatever in future vlogs. But it's kind of funny because I was telling my wife that even though I got this mask for this year's Halloween to go trick or treating with my kids, the jumpsuit that I have, I can actually alter it. So next year, I can actually go as a member of one of my favorite bands known as Slipknot and just get the mask for probably Joey Jordison's mask and go around as Joey for Halloween next year. Possibly. But then my family wants to do the famous slasher theme next year. So if that's the case, I would be Michael Myers again. And my daughter, well, my wife would be Chucky again, but my daughters would end up choosing between Ghostface, Leatherface, Freddy Krueger, Jason. So, appreciate it. Joys of San Joaquin Valley, appreciate it. Yeah. Actually got a really good deal on this mask too, but I don't have the fake blood to put over here. Obviously, where Michael was shot by Laurie in the Rob Zombie version of Halloween. But I'm going to do the full effects. I'm gonna put the dark shades around my eyes to kind of hide my skin color, so it's all black. I am going out. Well, you guys will see because I will live stream Halloween night going trick or treating, so you guys will see exactly what the full getup looks like. But got the jumpsuit over there. Not putting it on for this, and I think I've worn this mask long enough. So hold on. Oh my god. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, trying to wear that on the podcast. That's kind of strange. Anyways, glad to have you guys here. We're gonna get into it here in just a little bit. And I'm gonna talk about my favorite features of Android 15. That is the core of today's podcast episode. If you guys caught the Pixel 7 video this morning, thank you guys for doing so. Appreciate that. So anyways, Android 15 is out now. Majority of people that have been waiting for the software update to their device should have gotten it already by now, at least the devices that will be supporting Android 15. So if you did get a hold of Android 15, that's pretty cool. You guys can, in the chat, you guys can post what your favorite feature of Android 15 is. And if for those watching the replay, you guys can post that in the comments, letting me know which Android feature, 15 feature you guys are, happy with. One of the big key things is that, people are more happy with the improved battery life. And, to be honest with everybody, I mean, improved battery life is always a good thing. I would never trample over that. But I have a little bit of a different feature from Android 15 that I'm kind of excited about. So anyways, let me pull up this this page from the Google blog. And you guys will see exactly, you guys will see what my my favorite feature is. And that is that feature right there. The theft and recover stolen device faster. And this is something that I did check out, and I did enable it on my Google Pixel 7 and on my Pixel 8a. I enabled these features on there because, you just never know. I live in a very heavily populated city. We do have a lot of high crime, so that is something that you're bound to have this happen to you once or twice living in my city. And so having something like this is actually pretty cool. For those who don't know how this works out, literally the way that this works out is the sensors on your Google Pixel device can pretty much determine if your phone has been snatched out of your hand. Like if it's been ripped from your grip. And no, I wasn't intending to rhyme that. The phone will go into an auto self-protect mode. So what will happen is obviously your screen will lock immediately. Find My Device will be enabled, and an established connection will maintain, so that way you can remote lock your device or remote wipe your device if need to. With the newer Google Pixel phones, they have an ability to still be triangulated, even though they may be low powered or powered off. A little bit of the battery is sipped, and it uses, I believe, the Bluetooth antenna in order to maintain some sort of a connection, so that way you can find it with the Find My Device, which has been totally revamped from what it was before. So this is one of the cool things that I am pretty happy with Android 15. So as you can see from this little demo right here, and let me take the QR code out the way so it's not obstructing anything. But you can see this little walkthrough right here. It shows you, theft protection, what it's supposed to be able to do. It pretty much locks the person from being able to get into your device. And that's absolutely important to be able to do that right away or as quick as possible. Because if you're on your device and your device screen is unlocked, then you can't count on the fact that it will lock if they grab it. The only way it's going to lock is if they accidentally push the power button while they're grabbing it from your hand. But if they're able to swipe it, say what I call the chopstick swipe, where they grab it from the top, from the screen or from the back and pull, then they're not really touching the power button, which means that the screen will remain unlocked. If they can, while running, quickly navigate themselves into, trying to start removing your Google account, all those things, it's bad. So one of the ways that, that this comes in handy is that, from it detecting some sort of, like a hard grip and pull onto the device, would lead it to believe that the device has been taken from your possession, and it will just immediately lock the display, regardless if you push the power button or not to, lock the screen. It will just do it already. I know some people will probably say oh, what if my friend is goofing off and they snatch it from my hand? Well, you know what? If it's your friend, obviously you're going to recover your phone back, so it's not a real big deal that the phone locks itself. It's not a lock where, you have to remember a specific code to get back into it. Obviously, the code to get back into it is going to be your biometrics or your setup password or security pin, whichever you choose as your lock method. That's how you would get back into it, right? So it's not like a heavy, extensive lock. However, it's the type of lock that would prevent someone from getting into your phone if you laid your phone down on a desk and, went to the bathroom really quick. You don't have to worry about your friends getting in your phone because they don't know your PIN code, your password, or they don't have your biometrics. So this to me is really cool, a really cool added feature in Android 15 that I personally like because, like I said, I live in a very heavily populated city, especially when you got more and more people from California moving to my city. We have like really increased in population here. And so one of the things that, can't be helped that travels is crime, right? Like if a criminal from my city left my city and moved to LA, they're not moving to LA really to start a whole new life. They're going to a different ground that they can play the field that they're not well known for, and they're going to still commit crimes, right? So there's some people from California that moved out our way that brought that mentality out over here, and they're doing all these things that people in my city aren't used to that type of crime. Like, it sounds so weird to say it that way, but that's really how it is, So yeah, crime rate has gone up high, and one of the things that has gone up high in my city is phone snatches. There have been people that run in downtown ASU, downtown Phoenix, and they will run and snatch your phone, And so, with that being said, this is something nice to have, kind of an anti-theft protection. Now, what people got to understand with this, it's not a guarantee phone recovery. Okay, so you're not guaranteed to recover your phone. But at least you have a peace of mind that if you cannot recover your phone, they cannot gain access to things that, are private for you on that phone, like your banking apps, your photos, any calendar events that are crucial, they won't get access to it because the phone will lock. And as you guys can see from the demo here, you have access to remote lock your device too as well. And you can actually enable this and disable it if you want to. I would say enable it because you don't want to disable it, and then when you need to remote lock your device, you don't have the capability to do it. With these features set in place, you don't need to do anything in developer options. So you don't need to go and like turn on, OEM unlock to try and unlock the bootloader to do this. You don't need to turn on USB debugging to be able to do this. This is all natively built into Android 15. That's the beauty of it. So there's no extra additional steps you need to do in order to achieve this level of security. So when it comes down to Android 15, the overall thing of Android 15, it's all about security. Really, that's really kind of, they really kind of put more emphasis into, which I will never trash a company for going above and beyond on security, because our smartphones today is like an extension of us, and every little bit of our personal secrets is involved with our smartphones. Like, we feel like these things are safe. And they literally are. Like, we put every little secret in there. Some of us may record a video because they fancy making a video of them lip syncing a song to their favorite band or whatever. And yeah, they don't want that video to be put out on social media, but they thought it was cool when they recorded it at the moment, right? Do y'all remember when Vin Diesel was dancing to a song that went viral on Instagram and on social media because he was just cutting loose? Like, there was no reason, there was no party, there was no guests over. He just had music playing in one of the rooms in his house, had his phone set up, had it recording, and was just cutting loose. Some people just do things like that. It's just who we are as humans, it's therapeutic to us, but it's not meant for the whole world to see, you know what I mean? And so our phones carry those things. Our phones carry pictures of our family members, pictures of our kids. Our phones nowadays, in certain states that approve it, are allowed to, basically host your driver's license. They host your credit card, your debit card, your rewards card. They hold a lot of personal things to us, right? So they are pretty much like a safe. And Android 15 focusing on, theft protection, securing your device is something that I find is a big plus on Google's end, and a much needed thing that we need, as that was probably probably some of the things that people had talked about would always kind of like trash on Android was for that very reason. With the chat, I'm gonna go ahead and overlay the chat out. So, if anyone wants to ask a question, they totally can, and people can see it. So it'll be up there for everybody. But yeah, that's one big improvement on Android 15. Um, Another is this right here, which is your private you know privacy in your apps, the things that you use, right? So there's certain apps that maybe you don't want people to see that's on your device, like your banking apps. This is something that I would say would be perfect for hiding your banking apps because then no one can see who you bank with. Um, One thing I do on my smartphones, I do have privacy screen protectors. Yes, they negate, you know, um, the fingerprint sensor because of the tint on it that kind of like hides. So when you hold my device at certain angles, so I'll show you. I'll like the screen. If you go to certain angles, it goes dark. However, biometrics does not work on it for fingerprint. So with the Pixel 7, it's face unlock, but it's not the level 3 face unlock that the Pixel 8a has. So I can't use face unlock with any of my banking apps. But still, there's a level beyond that to kind of protect so people don't see what types of apps you're looking at, or what types of apps you have on your device. And so you have a section that you can put and mark it as private, so it does not appear until you actually try to initiate access to that folder in your app drawer. And of course, it requires biometrics, as you can see, fingerprint or face unlock. It will require that in order to open and show the apps. So this is like a great way to kind of like, you could tuck your Photos app in there so people can't access your photos, even if they were, to get into your phone. And, it's not a label that you see. So it's not like you scroll to the bottom of your app drawer and then there says private apps. They're not going to make it noticeable. Only you would know that you had apps stored in a private folder on the app drawer. So you would know where to initiate, the launch of the private app drawer to put in your biometric security and just, continue forward, like continue to go into the apps you need to get into. So like I said, that's a nice nifty feature to have. Just to, again, Google really focused on privacy. So, with Android 15, they pretty much opened it up, for tablets and, for their foldable devices. You guys can see here. So you can pair apps together now in Android 15, as the demo shows right here. They paired Google Drive and Keep Notes together. So when you tap on it, it pretty much will launch both of them in, dual windows. So it makes it, easier to multitask. Like any two apps that you're always going to multitask in, it will pair it. So it'll pair them together. So when you click on the little icon, it will launch it both at the same time, as you see here in the demo itself for Android 15. And also here, log in securely, take better photos, and more. Low light boosts in-app camera controls now work better in low light conditions, and third-party apps have more camera control, like more precise flash control. Carrier messaging apps can use satellite connectivity to send and receive messages without mobile or Wi-Fi connection. And in apps that use passkeys for authentication, you can log in with a single tap now. So these are just, some of the major improvements in Android 15 and features that's been added in. So I definitely give it up, to Google this year for really just kind of being very focused on privacy and security. So not a major, software overhaul, but just more dedicated to privacy. Now, for those who want to know, honestly, why all of a sudden did they, like it's like this, right? Why only this? We have to think about the age in mobile technology and where it's going nowadays. We are pushing into AI for more things. AI is, being, tied into every app that we're using nowadays, including third-party apps, right? Facebook has AI, to it. You have, maybe your favorite restaurant apps are starting to have AI built into it. Like AI is going everywhere. It's spidering into everything. And if we don't beef up security, that could be very detrimental to a lot of people out there. So with that being said, it makes sense that Google would be very focused on privacy and security. Okay, it would make a lot more sense. Me personally, there's never, and I would never consider anything to be too much security. To be honest, you can't really have too much security. So yeah. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on all of it with the whole privacy security. But you know, you guys can leave your feedback in the comments, or if you're watching in the live chat, post your thoughts right there and what you think about it. So the next thing that we're going to kind of just be talking about, which I didn't list in the title, but we're going to talk about it today, and that is iOS 18. So for those of you who have an iPhone that is supporting iOS 18, iOS 18.1 just fully released out. And it actually released out earlier than expected. I think they said that the 28th or the 29th was the day that iOS 18 and iPadOS 18 was going to come out. However, my iPhone 11 Pro Max got the full iOS 18.1 update on Saturday. And the iPhone 12, I checked it on Sunday and updated it on Sunday. So, well before today. Today was supposed to be like the official, but I guess they rolled it out in waves, and I guess the rest of the devices out there that would support iOS 18.1 would get the update today. So, if you didn't get it yet, check, go to settings, go to general, go to software update, click on it, and check to see if you have it ready and available. Now remember, when it comes to iOS 18.1, a lot of the talks regarding iOS 18.1 was on the premise of Apple Intelligence being ready and available in iOS 18.1, or so at least that's what a lot of us thought. You can imagine the backlash that came on X from a lot of people who ended up taking the software update of iOS 18.1 only to find out that they still had to apply for Apple Intelligence and wait for approval. Now, you had the diehard Apple fans that were just like, oh, it was only a couple of hours I had to wait to get, approved for Apple Intelligence, so why is everyone complaining? But you dang well know that if this was on Android, if Android 15 released without any new Gemini features, except that you had to apply for those Gemini features to get them, they would be clowning the hell out of Android right now about, oh, you guys still had to apply, you guys still had to wait. So it's so weird to see Apple fans just be that delusional to the case, and it's okay for Apple to do it to them, but it's, blasphemy if Android did it to the Android users, so it's always one of those weird things. And I'm not saying every Apple fan is thinking this way, just the diehard ones that feel like Apple can't do no wrong. And in this instance, Apple is wrong. I'm sorry to say it. If it hurts feelings, oh well. I'll give you a Kleenex. Wipe your tears. It is, to me, that is the biggest load of crap to do to any end user. And a big part of it was a lot of the jargon that was spewed out while waiting for iOS 18.1. So when Apple decided to release and unveil that they were creating their own version of AI, they were talking about it being called Apple Intelligence, and it had a lot of Apple fans excited because they've been hearing Google talk about Gemini, they've been hearing Samsung talking about Galaxy AI. So for them, they were like, oh, where's our slice of the pie? And then they heard Apple Intelligence and lost their mind. They just went bananas over it. But then we started to really kind of peel the curtain back and kind of try to get a peek inside as to what's going on behind the scenes, and we found different. Yes, I'm not saying that Apple Intelligence is going to be bad and that it's not going to be useful and it's not going to be working as intended to. I honestly do feel that Apple will get their version of AI on, off the ground and get it going. Of course, there's one thing that I don't like about it. It is its reliance on Chat GPT. But maybe Apple will sway from that and kind of just use Chat GPT for now, and eventually will then really kind of invest deeply into Siri being able to handle those inquiries and those commands, rather than relying on Chat GPT for some of the workload. But I digress. That's for a different video, different time, different place. The whole thing with Apple Intelligence had everybody like on the edge of their seat for their iPhones and their iPads to get this. Then it was said that, oh, well, Apple Intelligence will come with iOS 18.1. So a lot of the iPhone user fan base was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll wait. No problem. I already took iOS 18. I'll wait. Some of them were like, oh, well, you know what? iOS 18.1 beta's out. Let me join the beta program. And they were joining the beta program, and then I would see them on social media. You know who they are because they take to social media and they're like, okay, where's Apple Intelligence for my iPhone 13, or where's Apple Intelligence for my iPhone 12? You guys noticed I was one of them on actually posted that. Like, I took the beta to see if I could actually test things out, and was like, oh, where's it at? And of course, you had to apply. But no one really thought that would be the case going into iOS 18.1 full-fledged out of beta. Like, it made sense to apply for it in beta because they want to roll it out little by little to continue testing it and to making sure that there's no bugs that they have to go back and fix, and that everything is functioning smoothly. Obviously, Apple wants to do that. And in this instance, a lot of people with iOS 18.1 beta were just like, okay, some were able to apply and get it. That was totally fine. A lot of people that were rocking iPhones that are waiting for the iOS 18.1 full update were like, I'll wait till it updates and then I'll try it out then. And so when the day happened and you got that notification when you checked that iOS 18.1 was available for your device, a lot of people were let down because they were like, oh, okay, they would update it. My iPhone 12 took 4.5 hours to update. My iPhone 11 Pro Max took 6 hours to update. It was a pretty big file, 6.3 gigabytes in size. Nevertheless, it installed it, and both phones are running, and they're operating just fine. It was then when I was like, oh, okay, let's check out the new Siri, let's check out the new features. Where I found was like, oh wait, why am I not getting it? And I do my research. I took to social media to look around, and I saw other people that were like, oh yeah, they took the iOS 18.1 software update and they had to apply for approval to gain access to Apple Intelligence. And I was like, whoa, so we have to still apply? And I found that weird because I'm like, why do we still have to apply? Shouldn't that be given? I mean, Android did not make people apply for Gemini. Galaxy did not make people apply. Like, yes, for specific features on those, you have to pay to play. So you had to pay a subscription. Like with Gemini, to get the full capabilities of Gemini, you have to be subscribed to any one of the Google One subscriptions of the 2 terabyte plan with Gemini Advanced for $19.99 a month. So that's $20 a month. I forget what Galaxy AI's is, but nonetheless, will Apple be any different? No. I firmly believe that Apple will charge for a lot of those features. A lot of the AI, they will charge for it. Why would they charge for it? Obviously, to make money. Apple wouldn't be removed out of the pot of not wanting to make some sort of money based on a new feature that they are, offering. Right now, AI is cool. People want to do all kinds of funny things with AI. Sorry, I got to charge my Pixelbook here. I forgot to charge it last night. But, people want to be able to make cat images or dog images that are podcasting, or just, some of the most funniest stuff, right? There's still a lot of security that needs to be set in place to basically watch over the whole AI space, right? Because AI is pretty scary of what you can do and how you can take a video and use AI and to copy the person's voice and to make them say something on social media that could totally destroy a person's life. So there's a lot of security that has to get involved with AI. And yeah, so they're gonna charge a subscription, a fee, those types of things. It's just sad that a lot of people were expecting one thing and got another. Like, yes, it's not that detrimental at all whatsoever. It's not that bad. Those that are really just kind of looking into it, it's not that bad at all. But still, people's expectations was, I'm gonna get Apple Intelligence rolling, and that was furthest from it. So before I move on to my next segment here, whatever your thoughts are on iOS 18.1 release without Apple Intelligence open to everybody, leave your thoughts in the comments. Definitely love to read your guys' thoughts on that. Is that an okay thing with you guys or not? Type of thing. So with that being said, kind of moving on to Google Fi service, giving you guys my thoughts on the Google Fi service and how it's been for me so far. Just kind of loading things up, making sure there's no none of my personal info here, but anyways. All right, so yeah, I have a Google Fi service. My cycle ends in 27 days. I already got my first bill generated. It is $32, so it's half of what the $65 plan is, and I'm actually going to run that for 4 months. Here's my reasons why I will drop down to simply unlimited later. Obviously, to save $15 on my bill, because it's a $15 difference between that and the Unlimited Plus plan. But if you guys see, the Unlimited Plus plan gives me YouTube Premium, but it's not a year anymore. What up, man? What's going on? It's not a year anymore of YouTube Premium. Now it's 6 months. So they kind of scaled it back. Fine, fine. It is what it is. So for the next 4 months, I will be using the Unlimited Plus. I may just keep it because I did order a data-only SIM card that's coming in. I did ask a question in one of my shorts, if you guys caught it, where I was just questioning that, we have physical SIM cards for data-only. Why don't we also have the ability for data-only eSIM, eSIM profiles? Some people kind of mistook that because I wasn't saying to get rid of physical SIM cards. I was just saying that why don't we have the option of physical SIM or eSIM? Maybe I could have worded better. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so I have that coming in. It should be arriving later on today, and I will set up the SIM card and tuck it into my iPhone and use my iPhone alongside my Pixel 8a. And then I have the Helium mobile SIM in my Pixel 7. The services on Google Fi have been fine. I haven't had any issues with call quality or any of that. The reason why I don't is because in the Google Fi app, I turn off calling over Wi-Fi. I completely just use the cellular connection for voice calls. But the way that my family and I, how we call each other, we don't even really use regular phone calls anymore. I think the only person that calls me with a regular voice call is my dad. With my kids, I literally... we use Google Meets, or the duo aspect of Google Meets is what we use, which is very similar to FaceTime with iPhones. How did you get the bill at a discount? So currently right now, Google Fi is running a promo for 4 months. You get half off your bill. So if you choose the Unlimited Plus plan, you get it for $32 rather than $65. If you're on the Simply Unlimited, you get it for $25 rather than $50. Taxes and fees are not included, so that still remains. But that's how I was able to get it half off. And for anyone that's wanting to jump back on Google Fi, use my referral code. You do that, you'll get $60 credit. They're running a $60 credit for a little time being. which, I will pop it on the screen right now. But refer someone. Let me switch this up a little bit. Maybe that'll be a little bit better to see. But refer someone, get $60 off your bill. So they're currently running that right now. Somebody already used my code. Shout out to whoever used my code. So I just have to wait 30 days. And if they stay with Google Fi, then I get a $60 credit added to my Google Fi account. Now, the $60 credit is not going to completely take care of my next bill. The way that Google Fi does it, they still make you still pay some of your bill. So maybe out of the $60, they'll probably use like $10 credit against my bill. But yeah, so we're in the month of October, November, December, January. So February is when the unlimited plus plan will charge me at the full rate of $65 before taxes. That's if I decide to stay with them. I could always drop down to the Simply Unlimited. But of course, that's one of the things that I really wish that Google Fi would change. And I said it in the video where I talked about Google Fi changing certain things. I would really love for them, to add data-only SIM cards to the Simply Unlimited plan. At $50, they can make that happen now, since most MVNOs and prepaids are doing the same amount of data with unlimited talk and text for like half the price, $25. So at least what they could do to at least make the pot look tasty is to throw in access to data-only SIM, remove that 5 gigabyte, hotspot thresh, and just allow the full 35 gigs to be used. If people burn their 35 gigs, oh well. It's the same as if they're on the Unlimited Plus and they burn all 50 gigs, putting the data-only SIM card in, say, like a little MiFi hotspot. Then, they burn all 50 gigs, right? Everyone's responsible for how they use their devices and things like that. So I feel like that's some of the features that Google Fi has that I think they should just throw in on all their plans. Because you can get a data-only SIM card on the flexible plan. You can get it for the Unlimited Plus. They just don't give it to the Simply Unlimited, which is crazy weird. You got things on the Unlimited Plus like the international usage and the YouTube Premium that you can say, okay, this is why we charge this price for this plan, because you get these features. But the $50 Simply Unlimited does not make sense to most people nowadays when you got $25 offerings out there. So if they threw in the data-only SIM access on the Simply Unlimited plan, allowing it to pull from the 35 gig data, then I think that would at least, and then chop it down from like $50 to maybe $35 or maybe $40 at max, I would say. Google Fi's been around since 2015, dude. They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. In fact, all they've done was really just kind of like grow. Starting off as Project Fi, then becoming Google Fi, and then 2 years ago becoming Google Fi Wireless, and just kind of adding more in. And their biggest forte right now, obviously, is international usage. When it comes down to traveling outside of the United States, no other company is going to beat Google Fi as far as services. But Google Fi likes to doom themselves. And I honestly feel like when it comes to their international plan, they should go back to how they had it before. You used to be able to use your international service outside the country for like 360 days. You had to come back to the US for 5 days and ping off a US tower to keep your service active. Now, they've done some crazy stuff, but of course, you have to thank the wonderful people out there who like to screw it up for everybody else. So, right now with the international plan or the Unlimited Plus plan on Google Fi, you have 90 days to use your services outside of the US. At 90 days, you have to come back to the US, you have to ping off the towers, and then you have to, then you can take it back out of the country and use it for another 90 days. And some people may take an entire year for business in another country, or maybe close to a year. So give them back that whole, year limit, kind of. Because someone could just like move to South Korea for business and is going to stay in South Korea for just 1 year and then come back to the US. But maybe in that 1 year they're there, they come home maybe like 3 times out of that year to visit family for like the weekend. And when they come back with their Google Fi phone, it pings off a US tower, and that lets you know that they're back in the US for a little bit, so you can continue that service. Now, for those people who are like, why do they do this? I mean, they're supposed to be international, shouldn't they just let it be international? Well, it's because there's folks outside of the United States who would easily sign up for Google Fi, i.e. a lot of people in India would find a way to get services with Google Fi and use it in India. And so that's what happened. And Google Fi caught on to it. Okay. Yeah, there are some loopholes you can do, right? I don't know if you can still do this loophole, but this was a loophole that a lot of travelers were doing with Google Fi. And that was, if they couldn't make it back to the US, they had a family member or a friend or a relative that had access to getting into their Google Fi account, i.e. their Google account. And what they would do is they would have that person gain access in, swap the device, activate a device right there in their house, ping it off a US tower, use it for 2 days in the US, and then allow that other person to, get their device reactivated by connecting to a Wi-Fi network with VPN, right? Like you can't connect to like a open Wi-Fi in China and re-download and activate your eSIM on your device. But if you had a VPN, yes, you can, because you can fudge things using a VPN. That would allow you to download the eSIM and set it up and activate it, and your phone service is working. That's what people used to do. It sounds like a lot of work to do, but you know what? People will do crazy things for like crazy stuff. New Mac Mini announced 1 hour ago. Dang, the Nightbot. I told you guys, this Nightbot thing is weird. It only comes in every so often. It doesn't actually really regulate my chat. But don't worry, Magical Mermaid, you're not in any trouble. I'm not going to let it, time you out. Just remember, like, all these, all caps is going to, it's going to trigger the Nightbot thinking that, that there's a triggered statement. New Macs are out. Cool. So, at the end of the day with Google Fi, my services is fine with them. They use T-Mobile. It's fine. T-Mobile works good here. Obviously, T-Mobile probably expanding N77 out here in my area. According to Sneed's video, I caught some of it. I'm going to watch more of his videos later today after I'm done podcasting. I haven't seen it really work at all. It hardly ever works, but Magical Mermaid magically activated Nightbot. So, hey, Magical Mermaid's got the magical touch. But, other than that, like, I really wish that the data-only SIM would apply to all plans on Google Fi. I wouldn't mind being on the Simply Unlimited. I really wouldn't mind paying $50 a month for it, even if they didn't lower the price. But if they gave me the data-only SIM card on that plan, perfect. I would just use that. Because I have home Wi-Fi, and I don't really go over 30 gigs unless I'm not on it. Because on my Mobile X line, this month, I went without using Wi-Fi at all on my device. And I ran out of data. I ran out of 30 gigs of data. And I still have 14 days to go as of today. It ran out yesterday. So yesterday I had calling and texting and no data. And it was like 15 days to go on your plan. However, shout out to the expert care people. I just reached out to them and said, hey, it limited me. It took away my data when it's not supposed to, because Mobile X is running a promo right now. If you're on the $25 unlimited plan, it is supposed to be fully unlimited, no throttle point, no cap. And now you guys know that if you're on the $25 unlimited plan from Mobile X previously, if you did use 30 gigs, it wouldn't slow you down for the rest of the bill cycle. It cuts you off. So I was like, oh, okay. I reached out to them. They're like, oh yeah, no worries, we got you. We apologize for that. Topped me up with another 45 gigabytes of data for the rest of my 14 days because they saw how much data I was using, and that was just me testing it out. So now they're gonna probably get mad at me and be like, this jackass didn't use all that data, because now I'm not. Like, yeah, I can burn 30 gigabytes of data in 14 days. 14 days. I could do that. What did I do on it? I was doing a lot of live streaming, a lot of video uploading. So I was creating videos with that device that had Mobile X, and then I was uploading it to YouTube on the mobile network. That's what ate up all that data, if people want to know. So I don't normally do that. I usually edit my videos at home and upload at home on Wi-Fi. So I wouldn't really cross 30 gigs. So dropping to the Simply Unlimited later wouldn't be a hassle for me. A little tip for those people that are wondering, like, why does Google Fi use so much, or says you use so much data? Here's a little tip you can do to kind of control that. One, is open up developer options on your device, go into developer options, and where it says mobile data always on, turn that off. So when you are connected to Wi-Fi, it turns off the mobile data connection and you're solely dependent on Wi-Fi. If you have mobile data always on, then the data that you're using is actually tag teaming with the Wi-Fi. And yeah, so you're still theoretically using data that's calculated against your data pool. If you're running a dual SIM, like what I'm doing on my Pixel AA right now, because I threw the Mobile X SIM into my Pixel AA, and the AA also has Google Fi. I have data running off Mobile X, but calls and text and RCS off the Google Fi phone number. Really trying to just close it down to just one phone number for my family to use. Rogue asteroids love to wipe out bots. Don't jinx us, man, because that's a possibility. People kind of forget, like, there is a giant asteroid belt in our solar system, and if anything knocks one of those asteroids and sends it our way, if it has a trajectory that perfectly aligns with colliding with Earth, we're done. It worked better for me with StreamYard. Oh, okay. I got 2 lines, one unlimited with 30 gigabytes of hotspot a month. On which service plan? Are you still on Helium Mobile? Yeah. Helium Mobile is in my Pixel 7. This is my business number. So a lot of the things that has to do with like the different partnerships and stuff I have, I get the calls and text on that number. So that will never go anywhere, especially now that they brought back the monthly prepaid option with your mobile rewards or crypto, whichever you choose to use. If you choose to use Bitcoin or Helium coin, you can use whatever crypto coin you want to prepay your bill for Helium Mobile. So I'm already paid up. So my next bill is not due until December, which I'm going to prepay that one up also as well. So it's back to being my free line because I map it. I use the rewards to pay for it. Oh, Boost Mobile? Oh, okay, cool. Anyways, yeah. So, I've been okay with being on Google Fi. Glad to be back on them. I don't have any desires to change, as I don't have any desires to really upgrade phones. So now that we're going to chill, I'm going to have some fun with you guys for like the next, 10 minutes or so. Because I do got a couple of things that I do need to do later today. And I did this in the beginning of the live stream. So I'll do it again now, but just give me a second. We're going to have fun now. We are, I want to know your guys' favorite scary movies, so you guys can definitely share that. And as for me, well, I will share my favorite ones and some recent ones that I watched. So I'll share that with you guys. And welcome back to the live stream. Yeah, so this is who I'm going to be for Halloween this year, obviously. Probably after Halloween. I have a lot of things going on this week. So like this is like the only podcast I'm doing this week. Any other podcast that I would plan would be for the following week. Just because, I have Halloween coming up. This on the 26th, this past Saturday, was the year anniversary that my mom passed away. And so there's still things that I'm doing this week for her. And then we got Dia de los Muertos coming up right after Halloween. And so, yeah, there's just a lot of things going on that, I need to get done. So this was like the only time I could have to live stream, which was, today. I have videos already pre-made that's going to be released each other day. So I'm not even really making content this week. Yeah. So Insidious is your all-time favorite. Insidious was pretty good. I give Insidious 2 thumbs up. I loved, the way that they closed out the chapter with Insidious, making the father and son basically, tag team to defeat the red-faced demon one more time. And the son figuring out that the doorway opened because he painted it, because of his art professor literally made him like, literally made him like open his mind up into remembering things that he was supposed to have forgotten. So yeah. um first Silent Hill first Silent Hill movie. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of the second Silent Hill movie. I think that they really did that one like superly weird. Um so, but I guess my only favorite part of the Silent Hill 2 was when the the actual leader of that cult, when her true form came out, and then Pyramid Head came out and fought her. It was an epic battle because everyone wanted to see Pyramid Head come out and just do some damage, and obviously he did. But other than that, I mean, it just it wasn't that good. So the first one, I thought was pretty good. Hopefully they decide to reboot Silent Hill, but my kids are actually getting the remade Silent Hill 2, that's been digitally remastered, so it's more lifelike. They're downloading it on the PS5 and they're going to be playing that. I know that my youngest son has accepted the challenge, so I feel bad for him because I know this is going to scare the crap out of him, but he wants to play Visage, and he's going to be playing that game, and I'm going to be watching him play. So hey, good on him. He wants to play it. He's so bent on playing it that I'm just like, okay, you know what? If it gives you nightmares, you asked for it, type of thing. So I mean, he's going to be doing that, playing that. Um, on my downtime, I am going to be playing some Dead by Daylight on the gaming channel. So you guys will see that from time to time this week on a little bit of free time that I have. And oh man, this freaking little bug got in here. Anyways, um, for me, the Halloween movies are obviously my favorite. Yes, I'm okay with the way that they kind of rebooted the timeline with John Carpenter's version. I love the fact that they kind of strayed away from the Demon Thorn and just kind of went straight to Michael Myers just being a psychotic serial killer. So Halloween 2 from the 70s, 80s, and then Halloween 2018, and then Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. That's a great way to just do the whole Michael Myers thing. And they threw him into a wood chipper, so that's for sure. That's how you kill us. Take note. That's how you get rid of a serial killer like Michael Myers. You just can't shoot him in the head. You can't stab him or cut his head off. Right? No, you have to throw his whole body in a wood chipper, and then he's not coming back. Okay, he's not the T-1000 that's gonna reassemble himself. It's not gonna happen. This past week, though, I won't spoil it for anyone, but if you have Max, if you haven't watched Stephen King's Salem's Lot, I would recommend watching it. It was a pretty good movie. It wasn't overly done, like where they try to like force the jump scares and force the spookiness of it. They did a good job in just naturally allowing the story to be that spooky entity that you're looking for. So a good watch for Halloween night if you're gonna curl up with a blanket and if you're going to watch some scary movies. Salem's Lot is a good movie to watch. I was on a phone interview and you put the mask on and I was trying my best not to cry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not trying to mess it up for anybody. No, hopefully that didn't mess it up for you. It's just like, I mean, in the beginning of this podcast, when I was talking about my favorite features of Android 15, so if you guys came in halfway through the podcast, you guys can catch the replay and listen to what I had to say about Android 15, as well as iOS 18.1. You guys can catch that. But in the very beginning, I put this on. And I took it off to do the podcast, and now I'm putting it back on to end the podcast. Just to have a little bit of fun. Um, it was awful to you. The original must be better. It was okay, I guess, not great. Well, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. And I've seen the original Salem's Lot, so yes, my expectations of movies have changed so much because I do know that when they reboot movies and stuff like that, of course, they're not going to be identical to the originals that were released way back in the day. So I already have that in my head, and yeah, so I'm not expecting it to be, but I still thought it was pretty good as far as for something that's like spooky for a Halloween watch. It was pretty good. That this I don't want to ruin it for anybody, so I would just say for those who didn't watch it, check it out. It's not terrible. It's not a terrible where you're gonna be like what the hell type of at the end of the movie. Um, a movie I would stay away from if you're very squeamish is Dash Cam. When I watched the movie Dash Cam, which my daughter picked out because she saw a trailer to it. She thought it was going to be pretty creepy, and it was. Don't get me wrong, it was kind of scary, but there was just too much stuff in that movie that just I had a snack and I just didn't eat. That's how bad it ruined my appetite. I didn't eat. I didn't continue on, with any drinks because there were just things that happened in that movie that was just sick. So if you decide to watch Dash Cam, I would advise you not to eat anything watching that movie because you're gonna lose your appetite really fast. Uh, oh yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, and Halloween Rob Zombie version, I would say yes. If you've never given it a chance, give it a chance. Rob Zombie's depiction of Michael Myers, I really love the fact that he really tried to give a backstory. Like if you compared the first Halloween movie, okay, where we got to see Judith Myers, murdered by Michael when he was a kid, right? And all we got at the end was his parents getting out of the car with Michael standing there with a blank stare on his face in his clown costume, and then it just cuts to him escaping from Smith Groves when Dr. Loomis was going to the facility. In Rob Zombie's version, he kind of gives a little bit of a backstory as to why Michael is the way that he is. And also at the same time, he takes away that supernatural aspect to Michael and just makes it a straight, demented, twisted serial killer type thing. Hollywood destroys good original movies with remakes. They do, to an extent, because there are two things that goes involved in rebooting a movie. One is trying to retell that story, and two is trying to adapt it to today's society. I always had a rule of thumb, being somebody that loves to talk about movies, and that is, um, if you felt the movie was portrayed a certain way and you didn't like it, you got to blame the generation around you. You got to the next generation that comes up, you got to blame them because these movies are all done to try to adapt to be relatable to the new generation for something that they can identify with and understand. And for a lot of us that are generations before, the types of things that we see with the younger generation, we're like, what the hell? Some of the things they do we don't understand, and this is because of a generational difference. So that's really what kind of ruins it for movies being rebooted or remade is the fact that they try to adapt it to today's society and the way that they think about things. So always got to keep that in mind when you see a reboot of a movie. Which is why I would never recommend The Crow. The Crow was one of the most horrible movies, and it's not because it was adapted for today's generation. That movie just totally blows. Okay, that blew an elephant's goat so bad because it didn't really take to anything that had to do with the original comic book. And I read the comic books, by the way. So, James Obar's comics, I've read majority of the Crow series. I've read, about Eric Draven's story. I've read about Ash Corvin's story, which that's, Michael Corvin from the second one from City of Angels. His original name was Ash. Then they used that name Ash in the third one, which was weird. But anyways, I've read the one about the Asian mother who was beaten, and she comes back because not only was she murdered, but her unborn child was murdered in the process of her getting killed. So she comes back with the Crow. I've read them, and so this adaptation, with Bill Skarsgård, was like a whole big what the fuck. That's really what it was. It was a whole big what the fuck, because it was like you had Eric Draven, and then you had Shelley in like a freaking drug rehab. And all they did was run away together and hide at some place that she said, "Oh yeah, the guy that owns this place knows I'm here and he's cool with me being here," and then go on a binge of intimacy and drugs and all that, and then they get killed, and then the devil's involved in this, and the devil's like, yeah, her soul's gonna get pulled to hell, and so he's trying to redeem her soul. Like, it did not follow anything of Eric Draven's true story, which was he was a musician. He was living in an apartment building in Detroit. His fiance was fighting tenant evictions in that building because the owner of the building wanted to evict the people so they can burn it down on Devil's Night and claim the insurance claim on that building. That was the whole point of Devil's Night, was the business owner, known as Top Dollar, was having all his businesses destroyed and burned so he can file and get, the insurance claim money on it, which he used to fatten his wallet. And so he sent Top Dollar sent one of his top crews there, which was led by T-Bird, Skank, Tintin, and Funny Boy. And they were just supposed to go in there and scare her, but they ended up going in there, raping Shelley, killing Eric, throwing him out of a window, and then Shelley dies from all the inflicted wounds during her beating and rape when she was in the hospital. And that's what brought Eric back. He came back to avenge his fiance's death and his death. This new Crow one just totally shat the bed with it, so fuck them. They messed it all up. They actually have real devils. They do. I heard that was part of the inspiration of the story for Eric Draven. Darkwater. Yeah, Darkwater is pretty cool. Eerie movies like that, I like that. I'm looking at like what they're putting on these streaming app services as like the top, scary movies to watch for the Halloween. And some of them I'm just very disappointed about, I know that my daughters are going to be watching The Woman in Black and The Woman in Black 2. That's their choice to watch. We're watching movies every night from now until November 1st. So we already watched Halloween 2, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and we're watching Halloween Ends on Wednesday night. It wasn't my favorite of all of them. But then we're also going to sprout. And so I know later today we're watching Halloween 4 and 5, which has to do with Jodie Lloyd, who's Michael Myers' cousin. Which, fun fact you guys didn't know, Jodie Lloyd was played by Danielle Harris in Halloween 4 and 5. But Danielle Harris also comes back to the Halloween franchise for Rob Zombie's version, and she plays Annie Beckett. You guys didn't know that. But yeah, we're watching those ones. We've already watched the Rob Zombie version of it. One movie I would love for Rob Zombie to kind of like reboot would be Friday the 13th. I would like to see what he would do with Jason. There's rumors that's circulating around that there's going to be a Michael versus Jason movie. Obviously, Jason's going to be the protagonist. And like I explained to my kids, the reason that Jason is the protagonist is like Michael, he killed his sister and then he went on a murder spree in Haddonfield. Okay, there was no rhyme or reason to his madness other than that, he lost his mind. When you look at Freddy Krueger was an accused person, and the townfolk burnt him for the attacks on kids, and so he's taking revenge on the townfolk people by appearing in their dreams, killing them in their dreams, which thus translates to them dying in reality. So Michael and Freddy done some evil things. Jason was just an odd kid who was bullied by the townfolk and was neglected at Camp Crystal Lake, and he drowned in the water. So he's not evil. He's just doing what his mom bids him to do. So that makes Jason not an evil person. So Jason's actually always going to be the protagonist in these slasher crossover movies. If they're really making a Michael versus Jason. Michael's going to be the antagonist and Jason's going to be the protagonist. That's the way that I see it. Yeah, they're really trying to stop the Devil's Night here in Michigan. Whoa, yeah. Original Child's Play, true classic. Yes, I didn't like the fact that they tried to turn Chucky into some sort of electronical AI doll. Like, not everything has to adapt to today. That's the thing. That's a problem with Hollywood. They try to make everything adapted to what today has. We don't need an AI bot that was like misprogrammed and ended up going on a murderous spree. Having a weird, creepy dude say an incantation and transfer his soul into a freaking doll, a good guy's doll, by the way, to me, it is just more appealing. Yeah, my youngest daughter is a big fan of the Terrifier. I know, like, I remember one lady the other week. She was like, my daughter was talking about it. We were in a store, and this lady was trying to scold me, like, "You let your daughter see that? Like, what kind of father are you?" And it's like, okay, but you let your kids on TikTok. That shows a lot more other dumb shit. What kind of parent are you? Because literally, her kid was in the basket on the iPad on TikTok. So it's like, where the fuck do you come off telling me that I'm a bad parent because I let my daughter watch the Terrifier and you're letting her watch it on TikTok? And you know what? Clips of the Terrifier are on TikTok. I mean, there's another movie that I like. It's like, I don't know if it spawned from the Terrifier, but it's similar to it, but it's still creepy. It's The Jester. And I watched clips of that, and I'm trying to find the full movie so my kids could watch it. It was actually pretty creepy. So yeah, definitely going to be watching a lot of scary movies. Look at the time. Time for me to go. So anyways, guys, I will do another live stream, but it will actually be on Halloween night when I'm taking my kids trick-or-treating, and I am fully dressed up in my Halloween costume. So now you guys got a peek as to who I am for Halloween. And I appreciate you guys for being here and hanging out with me. But I got to go. You guys got to go too. Enjoy yourselves out there. Be safe this week because people are going to be being stupid and driving drunk and stuff like that. So just be careful. And yeah, just stay on the lookout for it as each video releases throughout the week. Those are pre-recorded, so don't be mad if the date shows a different time or if it, you know, whatever it may be. They're pre-recorded videos. So I will talk to you guys in the next one. You guys have a safe and happy Halloween. Aloha.